I had a ranking of power forwards, and the question recently was uh Charles Barkley, Elvin Hayes, um, and how I rank them and where I got them and so forth. Barkley was more popular, um, one league MVP. Elvin Hayes did win a title, and he scored more points than Barkley. But sometimes there, and an interesting thing when I did my detective work, they got some things that one had over the other, some the other had over the other. Elvin Hayes was a more productive scorer. And that's kind of the one that'll kind of stand out because you think Barkley, but the Big E did score. I remember from Washington until he played with Houston, he went to back finals. He was a cat that didn't get a lot of fanfare. And of course, obviously, there are power forwards that have come along. People will debate about Tim Duncan and Karl Malone and Kevin Garnett and Dirk Nowitzki. Giannis is getting his due, Barkley and what have you, by Pettit. So there'll be people that are going to be hard, Elvin Hayes. But the Big E was legit. It wasn't a 3-point line barrage and so on and so forth. So would have been very interesting had he come along in the era of cats like Kevin Garnett and Dirk Nowitzki, and even Carmelo, how he may have fared had he had the same opportunities. Because an era does make a difference. But as point blank, him and Barkley aren't that far off if you get into statistics. Uh, Barkley's got some things over him. Elvin Hayes got some things over him. I think the biggest thing for me is that the points, that career, because Elvin Hayes, that he put there, because Barkley had an inside outside repertoire. So it's kind of hard to kind of fathom it when you think about it. Rebounds, assists more for Barkley. But it's kind of interesting when I look at it. I'm like, wow, they're not that far off. It's kind of like, wow. It's almost like in another galaxy. Um, it would hit a certain way, where you're kind of like, wow, this is not that far off. This is actually, um, dare I say, um, comparable. But Elvin Hayes is one of those guys that, unless, of course, you're a diehard fan and you keep up with the totality of the game, he's starting to kind of lose some dap and respect. Not because of anything that he's doing. It's just that within the culture, people tend to move on and they tend to not, because it doesn't get as romanticized. And of course, there isn't the same kind of romanticism. Power forwards have actually gotten more romanticized because it was the most important position, I would say, 20 years ago. Once we got out of the center spot, because Shaq was the last of that kind of center, the power forward took over. And Duncan and Garnett was front row seat. You always rooted for Rasheed Wallace. Of course, you knew about Carl the Mailman, and you know about Charles Barkley. You saw some guys who you thought should have been guys like that weren't, like a Derek Coleman and stuff like that. So then you emerge now with the cast like Giannis, and so you just kind of like, whoa. But guys like Elvin Hayes should be remembered, and they should get their due. So it's real interesting how that all plays out. But yeah, I think the him and Barkley, when you look at the totality of the numbers, it's not a lot of a big gap. It's interesting. It's actually uh kind of close. But tell me, which one will you think deserves the nod of the two? Please select, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear. Watch out for another share if you like, and hit that membership, because when you do, video requests like this I bring forth. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.